So I'm going to go over a quick overview of Easy Custom Post Types. It allows you to make post types, taxonomies, and meta boxes. And then there are some settings. Let me bring that up real quick. Honestly, I never changed the default settings. Mostly because I don't use a lot of the stuff that it will do for you out of the box. You could have the plugin automatically create templates for you, template files. You can set what users are allowed to mess with your post types. You can make it so it'll render short codes and meta fields for you. You can disable taxonomy archives fix. There's a bug that crops up occasionally. I've never run into it. I've never bothered with that at all. One of the field types is a date picker, and you can set the format that you want it to use. And then this will automatically display your custom fields in your templates for you if you choose. I never ever want that because it's never ever exactly the way I want it. So I pretty much don't use anything on this page. You'll notice that the post types that it can deal with, it has post, page, and attachment. This plugin will let you do things to the default post types. So for example, under meta boxes, you could create a new meta box with some new fields on posts or pages. You don't necessarily have to create a whole new custom post type with this if you don't want to. So under post types, this is the form to create a new one. It's going to have fields very similar to the code that I showed you a few minutes ago. You give it a name. This name is to be used by your code. So you want it all lowercase, no spaces, no funky characters, stuff like that. Then for your labels, you can write anything you want. You want a singular label and a plural label, so that under here it says posts, or you can add new post singular. Show advanced labels. You can choose to write anything you want on any of these. Then post type options, hierarchical. Enabling this means that items can have parent and child items. Sometimes you want this, sometimes you don't. If you make it hierarchical, then the order field works. I don't know if we've ever looked at pages or posts over in the page attributes. There's an order and there's just a number. If you have hierarchical turned on, then that works and you can order things by that number. If it's not turned on, you can't. If you don't care, great. Enable archives. If it's on, then you can have archives. If it's not on, you don't have archives, and your archive template simply won't work, which may be wonderful. Post formats. Really, truly just put some additional div and class tags on your content. If you're familiar with Tumblr, when you post on Tumblr, you can say, this is an image, or this is a video, or this is audio, and it's styled differently, and it's presented differently in the page. Well, WordPress enabled that sort of thing, and it comes with a bunch of default formats, and you can add your own formats. And if formats are turned on, then there's a meta box on the side, and you can say, this is a video, or whatever. And then on the front end, there's some HTML applied to it, and you can style it however you want. You'll find WordPress themes that come out of the box and saying, we handle post formats, and your site's going to look just like Tumblr, or whatever. So you can choose to have this on or not. If you're not going to use it, probably just turn it off. Exclude from search. Checking this option will prevent this post type from showing up in search results. You may or may not want that. Show in Nav Menus. Yeah, these are the Nav Menus it's talking about. All these things like exclude from search and disable archives, and, the option to not show it in Nav Menus, that kind of thing allows you to create a content type that is not intended to be interfaced by the end user or by anybody in the admin. You might create a post type for, boy, I don't know, maybe slideshows then you're going to make really a custom interface for your slideshow app. And you don't want WordPress creating their own little nav things. So you can turn all that stuff off in here. I've never done it. One of the things I love about WordPress is that it makes cool admins for you. Menu icon. That's the little stuff over here. If you don't change it, it's going to be a little gear. Or no, it's not going to be a gear. It's going to be this little push pin. I never set it. Post type supports. Title, editor, that's the big old input box. Author, thumbnail, excerpt, these are all the normal things. Often I turn a lot of this off because my post types don't care about this stuff. For example, I don't care about author. If I'm making a staff plugin like we're going to make this weekend, I don't care who created it. It's probably Judy at the front desk and she made all of them. I don't care. Thumbnail, this is the featured image. I usually leave that on just so I can attach an image. Excerpt, I usually don't care about the excerpt. Custom fields, I don't want custom fields because I'm going to make all my own. Comments, I usually don't want comments on mine, so I turn it off. Revisions I leave on, even though most times I don't use it. Just on the off chance that Judy calls me on Saturday night at 11 p.m. and says, I just deleted the president's name. I can say, revisions. Post tags and categories. These are the out-of-the-box tags and categories that WordPress does. I usually leave them off because if I want that sort of thing, I'm going to make a custom taxonomy. Menu position and post type slug. Menu position is where it falls in this nav over here. And it's done by number. And if you click the little question mark, it will tell you 5 is below posts, 10 below media, 15 below links. You don't have to use these divisible by 5 numbers. You could use 6 and 7 for your two different types and control where they are in relation to each other. They'll both be below posts and above media, but you can have one above the other. Post type slug, I rarely change the default. It comes from the default comes from the name you put in at the top of this. Your slug is how WordPress knows what content type this really is. It's different from your permalink, though out of the box they are the same unless you change them. The end user never sees this. I've never seen a reason to change it. I just leave it alone. Disable with front. I always leave this checked because I can't think why you wouldn't want to. Front is, out of the box, the word blog in your URL. So you would go to domainname.com/blog/whatever. By and large, WordPress has given up on doing this. Out of the box, you don't see that. If you create a blog, you don't have the word blog there, but it's still buried in the code there. And if you don't have this checked, you're going to end up with the word blog or whatever you changed your front to. You can change it to be anything. So this may be useful to you. You may want front on it, and you can name it whatever you want. I always leave it off. So those are all the same fields that we saw in that code, but you're just filling them out here.